Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Youthman. In this video, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. But before we jump into the video, I just want to say, man, we had a blast at the Hi-Fi Summit just this past week. So if you missed out, definitely make sure that you're subscribed to the Hi-Fi Summit on YouTube as well as Instagram so that you'll be notified when we have the next event. So anytime I have good news and bad news, I always like to proceed with the bad news first. Now, because I've been tied up with the Hi-Fi Summit, I haven't had a chance to respond to the recent announcement regarding HDMI 2.1. Apparently, guys, if you haven't caught wind, there's some major issues going on. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go into all the intricate details of it because I still have a lot of reading and research to do, but just in the short of it, 3 major manufacturers came out this year with 8K HDMI 2.1 receivers. So we have Yamaha, Marantz, as well as Denon, and all of those claim that, hey, we're going to be able to provide that wonderful HDMI 2.1 that everybody's been wanting, and that's going to allow you to have 4K at 120 and 8K at 60. The problem is the chip that they use from Panasonic does not actually support totally uncompressed 120 frames a second at 4K and then your 8K at 60 frames a second. And so there's a major issue there. Now, my thoughts on it, number one, as of right now, there is 0 8K content. So I'm still one of those guys that doesn't really see the 8K is super valuable, at least right now. I mean, 4K, we've still got a ways to go on that before that's just totally mainstream. But 8K is like way down the road. So I'm not real concerned about that. The receivers that came out this year are really designed around gamers. Those of you that are into gaming, we've got 2 new consoles coming out, the Xbox Series X, as well as the PlayStation 5, which I'll be getting mine in, I guess in about 2 weeks. I'm excited about that. I'm not a hardcore gamer myself, just very casual, but I do want to experience this new generation gaming on a 4K setup. And so even myself, my projector can't handle 4K at 120, but maybe you bought a new display and there are even some issues there. Definitely check out Techno Dad's videos on why you shouldn't upgrade your TV this year and kind of hang off and wait until maybe next year to do that. But the reality is we have this brand new technology that these manufacturers are chomping at the bit to be able to offer to you and me as consumers. But the reality is there's definitely some challenges ahead. Now, I'll share some links down in the description below that you can kind of research on your own. Even if you just Google it, you'll find a lot of articles as well as other videos going into the actual specifics of kind of what went wrong and who's to blame and so forth. And so again, I'm not going to get into that, but just know there's definitely some challenges in regards to that. So if you're into gaming, if you're looking forward to 4K at 120, keep in mind, I don't think there's really going to be that many games, especially in the next year, that's going to be utilizing 4K 120, and especially when you add on top of that, ray tracing. I just don't see that's going to be the norm. And so again, this is something that's great. It's something that, man, that'd be cool to have, and it's a great technology. I just don't see it as being kind of mainstream and that's going to be the norm. I think there's going to be plenty of games that are still going to be 4K 60 that these new AVRs will be totally fine with handling and processing that. The workaround that everybody's suggesting is to use eARC. And so basically, instead of taking your Xbox Series X or your PlayStation 5 and going into your new 2020 AVR and then coming out of that with the HDMI to your TV display, instead of doing that, what you're probably going to need to do as a workaround until they get these chipsets replaced is to go from your console, your gaming console, and go directly into your TV, into an 8K input, and then come out of the TV from the eARC. If your TV has eARC or even ARC, depending on what resolution you're trying to receive and transfer. But if your TV has eARC, then you would come out of that back into your 2020 AVR. So that is a workaround. I'm just not sure that it's totally ideal, but that's what we have to deal with right now. Hopefully, these companies will figure out a process of getting that issue resolved. Unfortunately, you can't just do it with firmware updates. I mean, that would be really great if all they had to do is download some new firmware and that would unlock that potential. But the problem is it's the actual chip. The Panasonic chip can only, provide, I think it's it can only provide compressed audio. And the problem is that these new gaming consoles, they're looking to transfer uncompressed audio and video. And so when you try to send that to your display, you're just presented with a blank screen and it just doesn't send that information. And so that's kind of the issue there. So that's the bad news of this video. Again, we won't know how this is all going to shake out, probably for many months down the road. So just hang tight if you're kind of looking on whether or not you should upgrade your AVR. I still think these are great AVRs. They produce great sound. They still have great capability within them. But if you're like that hardcore gamer and you're looking for that 4K 120, that probably isn't going to be the best bet for you. But for a guy like me that I can't handle 4K 120 on my projector anyway, that's not a big deal to me at all. I'm still going to utilize Dolby Atmos. I'm still going to utilize DTS:X. I'm still going to utilize the IMAX enhanced formats, and all that's going to sound great. I just won't be able to transfer that higher bandwidth 4K at 120 and even the 8K upscaling. But again, I don't have an 8K upscale capable projector either. So now let's switch gears over to some really good news. Now, I don't know if you have ever tried to obtain a demo disc from maybe Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, IMAX Enhanced. They're almost like rainbow unicorns. They pretty much don't exist. Now, granted, you can buy them sometimes on eBay for typically astronomical prices. A lot of times, though, when you buy those, they're going to be bootleg copies. They're not going to be the original disc. And so you run the risk of getting that copy. But they're just really difficult to find unless maybe you go to a trade show. Sometimes if you go to CEDIA, CES, and you run into a manufacturer, sometimes they're giving them out there because they're not designed to be resold. Well, I have been trying for literally the past year to get my hands on some of them to give to you guys. And just this past week, I received a pretty cool package from two great individuals. I want to give a big thanks to Lauren with DTS:X, and I also want to give a big thanks to Paul with Sound United. And so over the next several, probably several weeks, might even be several months, I'm going to be giving away some DTS:X demo discs. See how many I can kind of hold in my hand. We're just going to continue to give these away. So I'm about at capacity here. Looks like I can put a few more in my hands. Oh, this is not going to work. All right, let's do it this way. So here we go. We're just going to keep stacking them. And so as you can see, I've got a few of these that I'll be giving away. Now, don't go sending me an email saying, hey, Michael, I want to buy one of these. I'm not going to sell them. That's not the intent of this. I want to give these away. I'll be covering all the shipping. And so if you look at this, that's going to be a couple $100 to ship these out. But I want to kind of give back to the community. And so here's what I want you to do. Over the next couple weeks, I'll be figuring out how I'm going to stagger these out. Definitely, I'm going to be giving probably at least 5 of these to just my patrons. I'll be having to run a contest over there instead of a giveaway because you can't put a giveaway behind like a paywall. But if you're one of my patrons, keep an eye out for some posts on this, on how you can win one of these. I'll just do a fun little contest and then I'll choose a winner from that. I'll also be doing some giveaways on my actual YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed here. I'll actually be doing some giveaways on my Instagram, which you can find that on the screen here. And then I'm going to do some giveaways on my Youthman Crew Facebook group. And then I'll also do some giveaways on my email newsletter. And so there's a lot of different ways that I'll be announcing these, and I'm not going to announce them on each platform. So for example, for patrons, I'm just going to say, hey patrons, I'm giving away 5 discs, and here's how you can enter. For my email newsletter, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to send out an email to all of my email subscribers and say, hey, here's how you enter, and then that'll be the only place that I announce that. And so if you're interested in winning one of these, either through a giveaway or through a contest, make sure that you're subscribed to me on YouTube. Make sure that you're follow me on Instagram, as well as my Facebook group, Youthman Crew, and then sign up for my newsletter over on youthmanreviews.com. So this is the brand new DTS Volume 24. This is the 2020 edition. And so again, Lauren, thank you so much for hooking me up and my audience. So I'm really excited to get this in your hands, and so that you can experience DTSX in its fullest. Now I'll post links down in the description below to my social media so that you can make sure that you're up to date on when these giveaways will take place. And as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll catch you in the next video.